He's one of the stars of the new film 12 Strong, about the declassified true story of the first American soldiers sent into Afghanistan after 9/11. He is Rob Riggle. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
I also didn't hold on. I mean, I mentioned you're the man on Fox NFL Sunday with your skit and your prognostication portions on that show.
I got it right yesterday.
Yes, you did.
I got it right yesterday.
I love your spots in Modern Family too, man.
Oh, thanks,
when
man.
you show up in that as
Gil Thorpe,
as Gil Thorpe,
the biggest jerk in the world.
Yes, the man that you don't want to see when
That's
you're
right.
trying to sell a house, pretty much, or buy one as well. Good to see you. In other words,
Thank you.
So what did you think of the games yesterday? What did you think of those games yesterday?
They kind of unfolded like I thought they would, except for the blowout. No one could see that coming. I thought it would be much tighter. I actually thought the Vikings might, but I did say this to a friend of mine. I said, I think all their magic was spent against New Orleans. And you come off an emotional thing like that. I know they're professionals, and I know that they can rebound and they do what they got to do and prepare. But that was one of the most iconic things we're ever going to see in professional football. It's up there with the Immaculate Reception.
I agree.
It's another version of the Immaculate Reception. And so that's going to be a lifetime clip that we'll all be watching. And you saw how they went nuts, and it was. So I think it's hard to come back from something like that.
I know, especially with the pressure as well. Well, I guess they're, as to use your point there, they're professional athletes. They deal with pressure that they could have brought the Super Bowl to their house.
I know they wanted
that town.
it.
They
and
wanted
that town
it so
wanted
bad,
it so bad too.
So bad.
Yeah.
They're filling up the Mall of America on a Friday doing the skull chant.
Oh.
And then, of course, the Eagles fans doing the skull chant themselves, but saying Foles instead of skull.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to play when those Eagles fans roll into Minneapolis. I don't think they pre-thought that very well.
They're going to have to coat the entire town with Crisco.
Yeah. But I had reservations. I don't see them, sir. No, I have a room. I rented months in advance. Yeah. No, it's funny how it doesn't. I don't see it. But I got lots of room for these Patriot fans.
That's true. You never know. Now, interestingly enough, I received a text last night shortly after the NFC Championship game ended by someone that you know very well, a fan of the Chiefs. I did mention the show that you were in with him on occasion in Modern Family. You share a charity with him in the Kansas City area.
I know who you're talking about.
Slick. His name rhymes with Schmerick Schmone Street, pointing out that the Chiefs beat both of the teams that are in the Super Bowl this year.
That's just a stone cold fact. That's not even debatable. There's no talking about that. That's just a lock. So deal with it, Eagles fans and Patriots fans.
By the way, in back-to-back weeks to start the season.
I mean,
weeks 1 and 2 took care of them. Boom.
That's
boom.
how you announce your presence with authority. And of course, then I don't want to talk about the rest, but we came out hot, didn't we? 5-0. Man, those were magic days.
Yeah, weeks 1 and 2 feel like 10 years ago.
Doesn't it though?
It really does. It does. It really does.
Back when Alex Smith was an MVP candidate, and Kareem Hunt was an MVP candidate, had to decide which one was Coach of the Year.
Yes, and I'm obviously a rabid Chiefs fan.
Yes, you are.
So obviously, I made a meal out of those first 5 weeks on Fox.
On Fox, yes,
and really played it up. And then I had to go radio silent for like the next 7 weeks. It's cut like a knife. I'm not going to lie.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. And then we rallied, and I thought to myself, all right, this is not bad because we are getting our mojo back. We're getting back on a winning track. We're doing things. It's coming around, and we're going to peak right as we hit the playoffs, and the dream's going to be fulfilled. The circle will be complete, and my mothership can come pick me up again. And it didn't happen.
No, it
did not materialize.
It's unbelievable.
And as a Chiefs fan, my son and I, he's a young 9-year-old who's new to the ways, new to the force.
Oh.
And it was 21-3 at halftime. And he goes, let's go play. Your game's locked. Oh. And I go, son, let me explain Chiefs football to you. We're not going anywhere until this thing is over.
Yeah.
And that was a hard day.
Oh,
that was a hard day.
I imagine so. Rob Riggle here on the Rich Eisen Show. So is this ripe for NFL honors comedy, or is it cut too close to the bone?
Well, look,
what do you think here?
I've had a couple weeks to
digest
and process.
Cauterize.
And put things in. Cauterize is the right word. Stop the bleeding, start the breathing. These are always the procedures, right? And so I did those things.
Yes.
And yes, I imagine there'll be a yuck or two thrown out.
So who is, do you believe, somebody again who has been following the NFL as close as you have, and also making it funny for Fox. Who is ripe for comedy the most in the NFL? What do you think? Who are you at this point in time? Two Saturdays it's going down.
Yeah.
Who are you targeting?
I mean, it's a target-rich environment. You've got, of course, the commissioner, Mr. Goodell, who I think he could always use a couple shots.
Okay.
And people are going to say, "Hey, Riggle, the Browns are low-hanging fruit. You know, leave them alone." Really? 0-16? I'm not leaving them alone. They kept their coach, didn't they?
They did.
They kept 0-16. He has a job. And now I kind of understand we need to get some continuity. We need to, you can't just fire everybody every year.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it 0-16?
And 1-31 over the span of 2.
Okay, come on. This is crazy. The people of Cleveland deserve better.
That said, and then of course the fruit's hanging low. And
fruit's hanging low. And
you're gonna pick it.
Come on, get the easy ones.
Yeah.
I don't know, McAdoo. I know he's gone, but he was just a wonderful, just the visual of McAdoo back when he had the slicked.
Yeah.
Then he changed up his look. Then he had the porn stash, and he was just a gift.
So poor McAdoo's going to be sitting at home the night before the Super Bowl, turn on the TV, and
he's going to go. He'll have a big thing of popcorn.
Yeah.
And he'll be so stoked for the NFL honors. No, okay. I try not to be too much. I don't like the bully stuff,
No, I know.
But you do have to point out what's in the room.
Sure.
So you got to have some fun.
And the commissioner is one of them as well.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, I think for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tread lightly, to use the Breaking Bad term.
Absolutely.
On that front.
It's a tricky front because when I did the ESPYs,
he actually has a great sense of humor.
He does,
but does not, have much of an opportunity. When you're the commissioner of the NFL, there's not a lot of opportunities for yucking it up.
You got to know too, if you're the commissioner, you're everybody's target. You're everybody's target.
Correct.
You don't have any friends. It kind of sucks. It's a very lonely job, I imagine. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out there and having fun. I do realize, when I hosted the ESPYs that, sometimes the athletes aren't all. They're not fun and games. They take themselves very seriously.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm like, it's just we're having some fun tonight, guys.
The ESPYs.
So when you say tread lightly, I'm like, I know.
I'm telling you, when you watch, say, Kimmel do his opening monologue at the Oscars or something, you could see sometimes they kind of don't find it very funny sitting in the audience.
Everybody's just tight. Everybody's tight.
But athletes are worse.
Yes,
I really believe that.
Yes.
Although I was at the ESPYs when Will Ferrell came out as Harry Carey and went through a bit of a bunch of lines that got nixed by ESPN management, just went out and did it anyway, making fun of...
It's good to be Will Ferrell.
He made fun of... Well, he wasn't Will Ferrell at the time.
It was Harry Carey?
No, he was... What I'm saying is he wasn't Will Ferrell as we currently know it.
Right.
He was just a very famous guy on Saturday Night Live. That was it. He had not gone...
Stratosphere.
Right. He hadn't gone stratosphere yet. And he made fun of John Elway's teeth, just again to give you an idea of who was in the audience.
Oh, and John doesn't like anything about John.
Apparent. So keep that in mind. If Elway's in the audience, which he might be.
Yes.
He said something about Ken Griffey Jr. wasn't as good as his dad. I'm telling you, you think like that means that's nothing, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy. No, he was not happy.
Yeah, they're a tight crew. Athletes are tight. They're wrapped really tight. And then you put them in an environment that is not their element, like the court, the field, the diamond, that's their element. And then you put them in a tuxedo sitting there while someone's up there going, look at this dude, look at this ridiculous. I was about to say something I shouldn't have said, but look at this guy.
Yeah.
And they don't like it because they've lost control of the situation. And everybody's laughing and they don't know if is it me or should I laugh along or I hate this guy.
Oh, and the director knows the joke about them is coming, so the camera guy goes right to sits right in the eye. Oh, they zoom right in.
And then they give you game face. They don't give you laughter. They give you game face. Well, although Anthony Davis, I give him a lot of credit because I threw out something about because his team beat my Jayhawks in the finals that year.
Okay.
The year I did the ESPYs. So I was not happy with him. So I said something about his eyebrows, looking like two caterpillars about to make love, or currently making love. Yeah. And they cut to him, and he was dying laughing.
Well, that's good.
And I was like, now there's a guy who gets it. He's fun. I
Thank
like
goodness
him.
he's a very tall man as well.
Very tall man, probably.
Now, what happened this year? Do people think what happened with Durant? I forget that joke where was it Peyton Manning made fun of Durant? And they zoomed in on Durant, and he did not laugh at all. And everybody wondered, was he in on the joke or was he not?
It was about joining a team to win a championship or whatever. Yeah.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, it's a tough crowd. They're always tough crowd. Anytime you get in front of athletes, they're tough crowds.
But it's great for you to do it because not only are you funny, but you also get the NFL. You know it, and you're also a host who's like, okay, I want to know who the MVP is. I want to know who's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's going to be a big night.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan. So I just consider myself very lucky to get to do it. And then I hope, I'm a good advocate for everybody at home that wants to do it.
There you go. Fantastic. Rob Riggle, we're going to come back in 60 seconds and talk about 12 Strong because you play in this film your former commanding officer.
Yeah.
Max Bowers.
That's right.
You play him.
Uh-huh.
And so this is a film that's very near and dear to you for a good reason because, I mean, you damn near lived this whole thing yourself, right? Okay.
I know these guys.
Okay, Rob Riggle when we come back here on The Rich Eisen Show talking 12 Strong and more in 60 seconds. All right, before we get to 12 Strong with you, Rob Riggle, you have the joke that Peyton Manning dropped on Kevin Durant?
Yeah. Peyton was like, the U.S. women's gymnastics team has just won gold medal, dominated.
Right.
They're so dominant that Kevin Durant is considering signing with them.
And then zoom right in on
Zoom
Durant.
on Durant.
And
I love that joke. I think it's a great joke.
The big screen, right behind.
Right.
And,
and he didn't make.
He wasn't
a move.
biting. He wasn't having it.
Yeah, not having it.
I love it. I think it's a good one, and it's fair. It's
very
fun.
funny. Yeah.
But there was a talk that he was in on it. They let him know.
Right. Hey, this is coming.
I think
just
they
a
did.
Heads up.
I'm telling you, ESPN, and they know how these athletes can get.
They know how
really
touchy
skinny.
and
They can,
fragile egos for such tough guys.
That's right.
It's really interesting. Very interesting.
So let's talk 12 Strong. Again, it's in theaters near you. It opened up on Friday. For those who may not know, what is your history with the armed forces?
I 23 years in the Marines, retired in 2013, served in Liberia, Kosovo, and Afghanistan, worked down at Ground Zero in New York on the rebel piles in the bucket brigades, moving rebel by hand. But the 12 Strong story is a great story. It's a true story based on the Army Special Forces guys that went in right after 9/11. So the story takes place in October of 2001. These are the first guys, boots on the ground. They teamed up with the Northern Alliance, 12 of them, and the Northern Alliance only had a couple hundred. And they took on close to 50,000 Taliban and Al-Qaeda fighters and beat them, drove them all the way back through and out of Mazar-e-Sharif, and allowed us to get a foothold in northern Afghanistan and really prosecute the war from there and eventually drive them out. Amazing story. Now, after I was at Ground Zero, I volunteered to go back on active duty. I was a captain at the time, had a pretty high security clearance for my job, so I knew they would be looking for folks like me. So I volunteered. Sure enough, Central Command picked me up on November 10th, which is the Marine Corps birthday. November 17th, I reported to Central Command. November 30th, I was in Afghanistan. And when I got there, I reported to Lieutenant Colonel Max Bowers, who was the commanding officer of 3rd Battalion, 5th Special Forces Group, and I just worked on his command element, his staff. I briefed him every morning, briefed him every evening, did civil affairs and public affairs work for him. And now I'm playing him in the movie.
Wow.
So it's very small, it's a very small world and a very surreal thing because I do have a connection. I knew these guys. I lived in Mazar-e-Sharif with them and got to know some of the guys on the different teams. And so I felt a direct connection to these guys.
So do you believe you have some of the mannerisms of Max
Bowers?
Yeah, I
think
did you nail it?
I think I did all right. I think I was very true to the man.
Right.
Now I hadn't talked to Colonel Bowers since Afghanistan. I didn't talk to him before the movie. I didn't talk to him during production. At all. So
was he aware that you were playing him?
I don't know. But the premiere just happened.
Yes.
The movie just came out this past weekend. And through channels, I got his email. So just yesterday, I wrote him an email and said, "Hey, sir."
Sir.
Yeah. Well, I still, even though I retired a lieutenant colonel and he did too. So we're both lieutenant colonels.
Okay.
To me, he's still sir because, I don't know. It's just in my.
Sure.
So anyway, I said, "Hey, sir, I hope you saw the movie. I hope we did your story justice. you and your men, because what you did will go down in military history as one of the greatest feats, blah, 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 blah. And I just, a little personal note back and forth. And then he wrote me back. So just last night I got an email from him, and it was a very nice email.
Oh, good.
And he was happy and pleased, and he remembered some things because, again, personal notes. But it was great. It was neat. So I finally just last night connected with him.
2 enthusiastic thumbs up.
Yes.
From the man that you were playing.
Exactly. He thought we did an excellent job.
Rob Riggle here on the Rich Eisen Show. Now, where were you in your career? When
Nowhere.
you were in the rubble.
I had done nothing
of the Twin Towers.
I had done nothing. I was at the UCB Theater. Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York doing 1 a.m. improv jams for 9 drunks in the audience. I was doing sketch shows. I was doing anything I could do to get stage time, really. But I was down at the UCB basically doing comedy there, pursuing it that way.
Are you the only Marine that you know of that's gone into comedy? I mean,
No.
I don't know, again, if it's an outlet or something.
I think recently I'm the most recent, probably. But there's there's great Marines that have gone on to show business. Comedy-wise, Drew Carey. He was a staff sergeant in the Marine Corps.
I did not know that.
Yeah. You ought to see his picture. You'll be like, dang, he's a motivated, tough-looking Marine right there. Harvey Keitel, Gene Hackman, Lee Marvin, Captain Kangaroo was a Marine.
Now, what was his rank though? Was he a captain in the Marines?
I don't know if he was a captain or not. I don't know if he made captain.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, did he promote himself to captaincy? Or?
That's one way to do it. The only way I was ever going to make full colonel is if I became Colonel Sanders, which I did. Let's be honest.
Well done.
That is fun.
Yeah. So
that is amazing. So I guess the only I'm just trying to think. Were you a private joker, for lack of a better phrase, when you were in the Marine Corps? Were you cracking wise or
no? I mean, here's the thing. It's weird. I was an officer, and I never wanted to be a goofball. You kind of want to instill confidence in your Marines.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a combat zone or in harm's way or in any of those bad places. So I never really was a jackass, but I never changed my personality either. You know what I mean? I was true to myself. I mean, if something was funny, I would crack wise then. But for the most part, I tried to keep 2 hats, one comedy hat, one Marine hat.
Sure. 12 Strong again in theaters near you. Check it out. Before I let you go, let's talk charity. Big Slick in Kansas City.
You're always the best about that. Thank you for mentioning
Come on.
that.
No, what you guys do in Kansas City for Children's Mercy Hospital.
Yes.
Is second to none.
Wow.
You raise 7 figures in one event every year, and you guys is you and David Keckner and Paul Rudd and Eric Stone Street and Jason Sudeikis primarily.
Right. All from Kansas City. We're all Kansas City.
And it's a family event. Like Jason's mom provides
Jason's
the
mom
travel.
She's a travel agent, so she handles travel. Gloria Rudd, Paul's mom, she works in PR, so she kind of does all the marketing and public relations. My sister and brother-in-law kind of handle the operations. Dave Keckner's sister handles a lot of the hotels and the merchandising and the coordination with the different elements that we do. And Stone Street's sister works as a liaison with the hospital directly. So we actually, when we go visit the hospitals and do all that stuff. So it's a true family grassroots effort. Like you said, we raise a lot of money. You've been, and we're always grateful when you come.
I love it. And when you talk about Brockman, I've always sung the praises of this charity.
I know. I want to go so
I know
bad.
you do.
Well, now we'll have great reasons for you to come.
Because Sarah Tiana, your girlfriend, does a podcast on Podcast One with Rob.
Correct.
And you were kind enough to guest on the one that Susie and I have.
You were kind enough to have me.
And we'll come back and we'll do a home and home.
Yeah.
But at any rate, because so many of these charity events, they're fun. Okay, I understand that we have fun. Yeah. But when we're out singing karaoke after midnight or so, you and Keckner and all the other guys come walking up to us, and you tap the watches and go, "We're going to see you."
We're going to go see the kids.
We're going to see the kids in the hospital tomorrow morning. So get your shut eye.
Yeah.
The Marine comes out.
Yeah, and by the way, you're a grown man, so if you don't want to do it, that's fine. I'll still be knocking on your door.
I know. And we go, and the kids, and just it's truly amazing work that they do at Children's Mercy.
They do incredible things. That's how they got me. I went and saw them do open heart surgery on a 9-day-old baby, where just a year prior, that baby probably wouldn't have lived. And so you saw, like, within a year, that's the kind of advances in technology. And that's when I'm a parent. I was like, well, I'm in. You got me. So that's when we started, the thing. And it's called the Big Slick because it originally started as a poker tournament.
Yes. Now now there's bowling.
Now it's bowling. But we also still play a softball game at Royals at the K, Kauffman Stadium. I call it Royal Stadium. I always do. But anyway.
And then just real quick, just before I let you go.
Yeah.
The take me out to the ball game moment, 7th inning. The Royals always let you and the rest of the crew go out there.
Now all the big slickers go out.
Everybody goes out.
Everybody goes out, and we sing the take me out to the ballpark, and we always end it with Gene Lamont, which means nothing to anybody other than the first year we did the Big Slick. Will Ferrell was there. We were sitting in the dugout suite, and we were heckling Gene Lamont. He was the third base coach for the Tigers, and he just happened to be close, and he was on the other team, so he got the wrath. And it was a lot of, that's Bush League call. Come on, Lamont. And it was just Lamont was such an easy name to yell. And it was so much fun. It was, that's Bush League, Lamont. Come on.
Even though he was doing
and
nothing.
He did nothing. I don't even know if you heard us for the most part.
I'm sure he heard you.
He had to hear us because we were in his hip pocket just yelling at him the whole game.
That's amazing.
And so then it just Gene Lamont became this thing.
That's how you
every time he'd walk
the...
out from the dugout to the third base, we go, Gene Lamont, Gene Lamont, Gene Lamont, like the Death Star, Darth Vader.
Right.
And I don't know, it just became this thing. And the more beers we had, the better, funnier it was to us. So
and now who's a member of the Royals front office?
Gene Lamont.
Have you told him this story?
Yeah, I think he's heard through the grapevine.
Okay, wow.
But the bottom line is, welcome, Gene. We are so glad you're part of the family. Please forgive us.
BigSlickKC.org to find out more about that. At Rob Riggle on Twitter, at BigSlickKC on Twitter. The podcast with Sarah Tiana, check that out. And 12 Strong in theaters near you. And we'll see you in Minneapolis for the NFL honors. I think I hit it all. Rob Riggle here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.